Well, hello. If you've made it this far, that tells me that you are ready to go above and beyond what's the basic that is expected. And I'm really happy to hear that. Before we get too far into this, I do want to show one thing you may have been wondering about. We do have these leftover lines, these guidelines that we used. Um, I did not delete those in the last video, but they're super easy to delete. You could either use the erase tool, but probably the best way to do it is go over here to the display menu here, and there's a button right there. It says delete all guides. Go ahead and click on that, and they're gone. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to add this front gable here on this little bump out. I believe that bump out is part of the kitchen, breakfast room. So let's go ahead and get that started. I may move a little bit fast just to try to get through this, but it's actually not too bad. All right, so I'm going to kind of move here. I'm going to go to, first of all, I need to move this because I can't get to any of my tools. All right, so I'm going to go to my tags menu. All right, and I'm going to hide my roof. Okay, because I need to be able to get in there. I'm not going to worry about the floor right now. It's not hurting anything. And I am going to make a couple guidelines, even though I just deleted some. So go to tape measure, and I'm going to do a guideline right in the center. See where that's centered above that window, that midpoint? I'm going to go ahead and click this line somewhere and hit that midpoint right there. And that's got a nice center point to use for my pitch. And a couple other things. I want to go ahead and make one back down here. I'm going to have to kind of make it even with that. I want it all the way across. I'm going to use that in a few minutes to make something, and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to click here somewhere near the bottom, and I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to try to snap it to that guideline I just made. And you'll notice what that does is it makes it so that this is on the red axis, which is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and type in 1 foot, enter. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just somewhere near the bottom, move over along that guideline, 1 foot, enter. We're going to use those later on for the tails of our, basically our rafters when we make them. Okay, so for now, let's work on the triangle that we're going to put up here that's going to form the gable end of this front side. Okay, so now we know the pitch of this roof is 612, so a rise over run of 6 up and 12 out. That is exactly the same as a rise over run of 3-6. You simply divide the 6 and 12 by 2, and you get 3-6. So we're going to use that information to make a new triangle here. So go ahead and go to the pencil tool. We're going to start right from this corner, this outside corner. We're going to move in this way and just start moving a little bit past that center line and type in 6 feet, enter. Okay. And then we're going to go from that endpoint up, keep it blue, make it 3 foot, enter, and then right back to where we started. Okay, so we've got our first triangle. All right, so couple things we can do here to make the other triangle. We could flip and mirror this, but since I've got this intersection right here, I need to be careful to not use that. The other thing I need to notice is that this triangle is not halfway across, and that's a problem. So what I am going to do is I'm going to create a guideline along this line here temporarily, just like that. I'm just clicking on it, clicking on another spot on the same line, and that's going to give me that guideline here. So then I can take my pencil tool and I can draw right to this spot right there. Okay, and it creates that next triangle. All right, so I've got a couple things to erase here. I'm going to erase this leftover triangle here and this line here because I don't need them. And you can see I now have a triangle exactly pitched the way I want it, and it is right to the center just like I was hoping. Okay, let's see. So next I want to actually push-pull some of these things a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the ceiling. Okay. And I want to turn this into basically a wall. So I'm going to need to complete this right here. So go to your line tool, complete this little edge, and you'll probably have to go across and up, and that completes that. All right, and let's turn to the inside, and we're going to push pull those new sections in. Okay. All right, I'm just getting into a good position. Push pull tool. I'm going to start with this ceiling plane here. Click until I get to the edge or on face, and then do the same thing with the gable end on face. Okay, so now I've kind of got my wall figured. Now look at what happened in the front here. It actually took away some of my drawing. Okay, sometimes that happens. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know why. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and I'm sure there are other people out there that know exactly why. But there's a couple ways of dealing with it. You can either do it in an additive push pull and redo what we just did. But what I find easier in this situation is to simply go to my line tool and then just redraw certain sections like this. Okay. And I'm going to have to reverse faces on these. So right click, reverse faces. If yours didn't change, then you're in luck. You don't have to do any of that. Okay, the rest of this looks pretty good, and I'm going to leave it alone. I guess I'll reverse the faces because I'm particular. All right, so that's done. Now, what I want to do next is I want to make some more guidelines, believe it or not, and these will come in handy in just a second. So I want guidelines that are aligned with the front pitches here, okay? So I'm going to take my tape measure tool, I'm going to click on this front pitch, and I'm going to simply move along that pitch and click again, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just click it anywhere, move a little bit, and click again. That's going to create this little guideline down here. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to take from this endpoint here, I want to go up this already existing guideline 6 inches. So type in 6, enter, and it creates a little point there that we're going to use in just a second. Okay. So now that we're ready with all our guidelines, before I do anything else, I want to take this triangle and plane that I just made and group it in with the walls we already have. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to hide my image. So back on my tags menu, I'm going to unvisualize my image. Now I'm down to just walls plus the walls I just made. Okay. The problem is if I unvisualize walls, I still have my triangle and I want that part of the walls. So what I need to do is go to my select tool, go around everything. Okay. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to make it a group. Okay. And I'm going to need to retag this as walls. So right click it again, choose entity info, click here where it says untagged and choose walls. Okay. I almost chose roof. That would have been a mistake. All right. So now if I click anywhere outside of it, it unselects or unactivates, I should say, the wall group. Okay, so we have a lot of guidelines here. I know right now they're kind of annoying, but we're going to need them in order to basically make our roof plane. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to use these guidelines and our line tool. So start with the line tool. We're going to start at the center right here, and we're going to go down, and we can stop here and then keep drawing. But remember, we pulled these guidelines out 12 inches. So they're already where they need to be. So I'm going to click at this intersection right here. Click. And then I'm going to go upward, and I want to go 6 inches. For me, it already snapped, but go ahead and type 6, enter. And then you want to draw up to that point you made. Remember that little point we made just a few minutes ago? That guide point is going to help us know exactly where to draw this, okay? And then I'm going to continue down to the other side. I'm going to go to here. You'll notice that it snaps on line. If it doesn't, you could draw the bottom first, but either way works. Down 6 inches, and again, this all snaps, and then all the way back to the very beginning. And now I've got my roof plane drawn. It just needs to be push-pulled in different directions. Okay. So I'm going to pull that out 12 inches. So go to the push-pull tool. I'm going to pull out 12, enter. All right. So it's starting to look like a gable end with a roof over it. And next, I'm going to revisualize the roof. Okay, I could just pull this backwards, but before I do that, I want to revisualize the roof, and I'm going to unvisualize the walls because I don't need those for now. All right, so now I'm down to the roof and then that new plane that we created. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull on that plane right there from the back until I get all the way into the roof area here. Really, I'm just going to stop somewhere in here. It doesn't particularly matter where, but I'm going to stop as long as it's inside of it. Okay, and click. All right, so now you can see I've got that roof through there, but I have a lot of extra geometry. Now, to be honest with you, some of this could be left behind. It's not going to hurt anything, but it's going to look much better if we do the next step. So here would be a good time to save because we've been making some good progress here. All right, and it's saving and saved. All right, so next we are going to create a, let's see, what did I do? Select all roofs. All right, I need to get back to the front. So right now what we have is we have the roof section that we started with, and we have this new roof but has not been tagged. And I can prove that by unvisualizing the roof, and you can see I still have that little one left. But before I group them, I'm actually going to show intersections from the different planes. So I'm going to draw, I'm going to go to my select tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle around the entire thing. Okay, you'll notice that it includes the group for the roof and it includes the planes that I just made there. All right, so instead of right clicking and choosing make group, I'm going to right click and choose intersect faces with model. And what that does is it creates all the lines where it intersects between the group and that new part of the roof. Now I can go through and carefully delete any extra geometry that I don't want showing. Now you can't delete all of it, but you can delete most of it. All right, so as you delete things, if you accidentally delete something that causes a huge problem, like say this, that's obviously a huge problem. You're going to have to undo it. Okay, but you can go around and get most items. All right, this line has to be left. This line can be deleted. Believe it or not, I can delete most of this in here. Okay, I'm going to leave just the surface that's left over. So this is going to be a little weird. Yours is going to look just a little different. Just go around. If you really screw something up, you can always go back and undo it. I've got this little piece here. Let's say you accidentally go over this. I think that might delete. No, I guess that left some of the roof. But I'm going to be honest, those lines right there aren't going to be seen and they're not going to matter. So I'm personally going to just leave them. Okay. I've gotten, I believe, all I can get. So now I can actually go ahead and group everything by drawing a selection tool around it. All right. Now I am going to right click it and choose make group. And I'm going to have to retag this as roof. Okay. So now if I undo the roof, everything disappears. Okay. So let me revisualize everything. Start with our image. Okay. And start with our walls and then add our ceiling, and now we've got our roof. So the really cool thing about this is that I can like look inside these things. So like if I unvisualize my roof, I can see inside the attic. If I unvisualize my walls, I can see inside the attic as well because the ceiling's covering what would have been the walls. Okay. It's a really nice feature to be able to look inside. All right. So that's how we do the gable end. Really the only thing left to do, I'm just checking my notes here. But really the only thing left to do as far as this video goes is to go back down here to the display menu and choose delete all guides, and all those crazy guides that I made before are now going to delete. In later design work, you can get rid of these hidden lines here, but right now you really can't, because if you delete them, you're going to delete a major part of the geometry. Okay, so make sure you're not trying to delete those lines. Same here. Those are actually edges between groups, and you have to do those in a very specific way. But I'm not going to have that in this video. For now, I'm just going to leave them and save my work. And I believe that is it. So this is the front gable. You can see that we're starting to look a little bit more like the original plan. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that is actually a 612 roof like they say. That is actually more like 812. But for whatever reason, they put, oh, I see. They did a primary pitch of 612 and a secondary of 1012. That must mean there are vaulted ceilings in there or something like that. So anyway, either direction you go, it does look good. That's where we're going to stop for this video. If you want to continue to the next one, please do. And always remember to save your work.